What's up?
I don't know. I'm just bored, and I want to learn English.
Well, you've stumbled into the flat Earth room. Have you heard about flat Earth?
Yeah, I know that thing, but I don't know. I'm just curious about the flat Earth.
Yeah, well, we're here in the English Hub to help widen people's vocabulary by talking about the flat Earth, talking about
Yeah,
science
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
That interesting
empirical.
topic. Yeah,
Yeah.
that interesting topic.
Yeah, so our position is that the flat Earth is it's actually empirical evidence. It's not a belief. It's not a model, or we're not telling you the shape of the Earth. What we're telling you is that the Earth is actually measured, utilized, and experienced as a flat topographical plane, or you could say planar. So we don't actually
Yeah,
have
yeah,
any
yeah. I
evidence.
see, I see.
We don't have any evidence of curvature or rotation on the Earth. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see, I see. I heard that flat Earth society about the kind of geometric theory or something like that.
The what theory?
Geometric theory
Oh,
about sun
geocentric.
running into Earth. You know, just
Yeah, so the geocentric idea
yeah, that's what
basically.
I mean. Geocentric theory.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you look at the sky, it doesn't matter whether you're, heliocentric or geocentric, the sky would do the same thing, so it's no way to tell really.
So where's the others about this opinion? I want to hear that, and I want to hear about a flat Earth. Is that community or something like that, or just a theory and theory and theory? There's if there's something about scientific evidence, it's kind of interesting, just like that. Just I'm just saying.
Hey man, sorry dude. The door went. I missed what you said. Can you repeat what you said?
There's I need to know about the scientific evidence like that. I'm just saying. The flat Earth theory is that a bigger community, or there's the movement about the happening right now. I'm just saying. I don't know. Where's the other opinion?
Yeah, flat earthers there's a lot of people. There is a lot of people all over the world who are flat earthers. There's actually quite a lot of people who don't tell you, or you would never know, are flat earthers, because it's the type of topic that can attract a lot of controversy. But in terms of us guys here, we basically are what you would call empiricists. Do you know what empiricism is?
I don't know. I'm just new
No, I mean,
in this topic.
have you heard of the term empiricist, or sorry, empiricism?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Empiricism. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's based on the practicing and practicing. Is that
Yeah,
wrong?
it's well, it's a
Empirism.
view.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah,
Empirism.
it's a view that knowledge comes from direct experience, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, the fruit. Yeah, 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 yeah.
it's yeah, literally the foundation of the scientific method. Have you heard of the scientific method?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know that. Know that.
Right. So as an empiricist, we say we know things, we don't believe things, we know things because we can observe them, verify them, test them. So when it comes to the flat Earth, we believe it's an empirical argument, not a belief. We believe that you can know the Earth is flat by observation, by experimentation, by validation. So there is no evidence of curvature. There is no evidence of the Earth spinning on its axis. And there's no evidence that there is an out of space. So empirically, it's a logically sound position, the flat Earth position.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? What about solar system?
The solar system is a story that we've been told. So all the movies and what we've learned in school has told you
Yeah.
that the lights in the sky make up a solar system, and that we have 7 wandering stars called planets, and that they are balls of rock and gas in a vacuum in the sky. But empirically, we have no way to know this or prove this. And actually, the term planet never meant a rock or a ball of gas in a vacuum of space. It's only ever really meant wandering stars. It's just recently, the last few hundred years, we've moved to believe that these wandering stars are planets, and that the Earth is rotating around the sun. Everything is in the solar system is rotating around the sun, orbiting around the sun, but we have no evidence of that. And in reality, when we look up at the stars and we look up at the sun, we don't have any evidence that any of this stuff is in a vacuum. The fact that there could be a vacuum in the sky kind of goes against the laws of the gas laws, the thermodynamic laws. So consistently, it's illogical. It's not consistent with the laws of science and nature as we know them. So solar system, it's a story we've been told, but evidence for it. Yeah. That might sound like a bit extreme or of a shock to you, but if you really think about it, everything you've learnt about the solar system has been via cartoons, CGI pictures. We have no footage. We have no means to get there and validate it, so it's just a belief system.
Wow, I'm shocked. Now I've been told on the scientific movie, sci-fi, I like watching anime, and also I'm really thinking about it, about what are you saying about the solar system, and it's kind of confusing to me because I believe in geometric centrism. It's like I read a book about Gozali and Galileo Galilei. So I don't know. I'm quite interesting about this topic.
Yeah, the thing you've got to keep in mind is a lot of the stories we've been told about the
Yeah.
ball Earth, the heliocentric model, they're not based on any evidence, direct evidence. They're based on assumptions that we live on a ball. Now, they decided we lived on a ball before they had any technology or any actual, means of understanding it. They just decided it was. They decided through, a story that was told in ancient Greece that a man measured some shadows, and it could only be possible to get those shadows if we lived on a ball. But now that time has passed and we're smarter, it's obvious that this is not evidence. This is what we call circular reasoning. You have to assume we live on a ball to begin with. So when you read the articles online that say we've known the Earth is a ball for 2,000 years, blah blah blah, we haven't known empirically. We haven't observed the solar system. We've assumed it, and for some reason they pushed this as the mainstream narrative. And I'm not trying to confuse the situation, but there was a lot going on at the time, in history when they pushed this idea. So I would say, yeah, they pushed this idea originally, not knowing whether it's true or not, but it worked and it was convenient for them. to have us believe that we're on a spinning ball on the edge of a solar system in a galaxy. It really does change and affect your philosophy, the way we think about existence. So I think there's plenty of benefits for them to have us believe that. But yeah, in short, if you want to be an empiricist and if you want to be logical, the globe is not a empirical logical position. So you've got a choice. You've got a choice to either be a follower and believe these stories with no evidence, or you can stand on your own 2 feet, question the narrative, and follow the evidence. I mean, when I said we observe the Earth and treat the Earth as flat, I'm talking about every industry, whether it's in aviation and ballistics, whether you're building, anything that leaves the ground, we treat the Earth as motionless. It's evidently motionless. We don't measure any curvature, and we have no evidence of space. So really, this is all direct evidence points to the fact we live on a planar topographical Earth. And we know most of the Earth is water. And we know that water at rest lays flat. We have a mean sea level based on the principles of water. Water's one of the things we know a lot about. And just the water itself will tell you that we live on a planar, flat topographical Earth. Hope I haven't overloaded you there, sir. But I feel like you get what I'm saying.
You may have given him a stroke.
Yeah, I thought I said too much in that last bit. Iksan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening to you guys. I'm just curious about this thing, Can think about the universe every day, but I wanna learn English. I wanna speak improve to, I'm just student in here in Asia, I don't know about anything about flat Earth, and yeah. So scientifically, you said it. Full of yeah, I don't know, assumption, anything like that.
Yeah, I've sent you a friend request. I've sent you an invite to the home server. We have a server that has a database of information, observations, videos, articles, documents.
Yeah.
So good
That will
if you're
help.
genuinely interested. It's a great place to start, my friend.
That will help.
A good place to start is if you are interested, is if we do live on a ball, what evidence do we have? And is that evidence direct evidence, or do we have an assumption in that assumed evidence? And that's where it really gets interesting. That's where you can actually know this to be true empirically. And you can go out, you can do your own observations, and you can verify that.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go out and do observation in my own.
Well, get your head around the globe, right? Because they claim it's a certain size. They make specific claims about gravity. They make specific claims about the curvature. So get your head around it and ask yourself, okay, how do we know this to be true?
Yeah.
And not believe, how do we know this to be true?
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Yeah.
Once you start realizing things can be known through empiricism, kind of changes your whole perspective on things, because we're just bred to believe stuff, right, from school. We're just taught to believe stuff. Don't ask too many questions. everywhere's been explored. Sit down, read your book, and regurgitate. So this can have a profound effect on your your general philosophy, really, your approach to information. This can improve your critical thinking skills.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So, Ekshan, what do you think about NASA and the moon landings?
NASA, right? Yeah, I think they are a big company who runs to colonize Mars or outer in the space, and they run a satellite, and then I don't know anything about that. I'm just curious about the UFO. I think NASA knows something I don't know. What about your opinion about NASA?
Well, when it comes to NASA, I believe that they're very deceptive. There is numerous instances where they've actually fabricated footage. They've taken basically images of the flat Earth, stitched it together to make a ball. They have
Yeah.
been caught using technology, augmented reality, green screens.
So yeah.
They're deceivers, my
So
friend.
they just shoot on the studio. Do you mean and the green screen?
Yep. We've got evidence of that. We've got evidence that their footage, even the moon landing itself, has been debunked by, not flat earthers. It's been debunked by globers, and a lot of scientists don't agree that the moon landing was real. But they will say, oh, they faked it because of political reasons, right? But actually, this is the only evidence we have of anything credible in actual out of space. If we lose the moon missions and the Apollo missions, there's not very much we have that we can verify from NASA. And with all the deception that they've done, my question is, why should we believe a liar if we can't validate it to be true? Because they're known liars. And they like to troll us. I think it was the Mars rover mission. They had the Rick Roll guy, Rick Ashley. They posted one of his tweets on the launch or the landing of the Mars rover. They like to troll. They do funny little gestures to let you know that they're actually trolling. But yeah, it's NASA's a rabbit hole in itself. When it comes to UFOs, my friend, UFOs
What
are just
about
unidentified
hey?
flying objects, right? Doesn't mean these unidentified objects are from a vacuum in the sky.
So what do you think about Neil Armstrong, who first landed in the moon, and the media make it viral, and then he famous about the first man in landing in the moon? Is that NASA help him back there? I'm just
Yeah.
curious about that.
Yeah. Ask
And
ask
why is
NASA.
he about so become famous about that? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Then it doesn't make sense to me. Really, really doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I would say let's get Neil Armstrong on an interview. The problem is he doesn't do interviews.
Well,
He's
'cause
supposed
he's
to be the
dead.
first.
Yeah, as we
Well,
know that Neil Armstrong first man land to the moon. Just think about it. How they
Yeah, just look into the
yeah
situation regarding
that
his death, and
that's
you'll
the
find
story
out
we have
some
told
weird
in
stuff.
every year, every generation. I've been told
yeah,
that in school.
I forgot. Yeah, he died. He died a long time ago.
Yeah,
But he didn't do interviews. He didn't do interviews when he was
but
alive.
he is really really inspirational. I think Elon Musk, you know, think about him. There's a lot
Let me
of
ask you this:
picture
they say he was the first person on the moon.
of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but who filmed him? Who filmed him
Yeah,
when he got out the craft?
yeah.
Wouldn't the cameraman be the first man on the moon?
And guess how many photographs of Neil Armstrong there are on the moon?
Oh, so you have it?
Yeah, take a guess of how many photographs of Neil Armstrong there are on the moon.
Wow.
There's only 2, and they're not very good. There's more picture of Buzz Aldrin on the moon than there are of the first man to step on the moon.
Yeah, but so they're lying to us?
Well, if it was this historical event, why are there so few photographs of this historical event? And the other thing they're missing is how many feet of 16 millimeter film did they take of the Earth from the moon?
Yeah.
And the answer is 0. They didn't bother to
What?
point the cameras. They went to the moon, didn't bother
Zero?
to point a film
Oh my
camera back
god.
at the Earth.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Because
You're blowing this
taking
guy's mind.
motion pictures is a lot harder to fake
So they
than
film it in the
individual
studio
photograph.
with a green screen? Did you mean that?
No, I just mean that taking film of the Earth, like motion pictures, is considerably harder to fake than just taking an individual photograph.
Wow. Why he become so famous, I mean, everybody knows who first man to land in the moon was Neil Armstrong. In history.
So
Kinda hard.
remember, nobody
It's
knows
kinda hard to
that.
believe for me,
But remember, nobody knows that to be true. That's not empirical.
Yeah.
People believe that. They believe the story because they broadcasted some footage live, and people believe it. But we do not know for sure whether any of that was true. And there's actually a really good documentary by a guy who we were discussing earlier, actually, a guy called Bert Sabrell. He has a documentary called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. I can't verify that footage, but if you watch that documentary, you're going to see unedited film, a film reel of the picture from of the Earth when they were apparently halfway to the moon. But the camera, the footage they used was only a small piece of footage. They had footage of them actually setting up the shot. And at the end of the footage, you can see that they actually faked the shot of the Earth when they were halfway to the moon. And I would say that's pretty damning. That video that's on that documentary, you can literally see how they did it, how they forged it, how they made it look like they were halfway to the moon, and then you can very clearly see that they were not halfway to the moon. They were just at high altitude, but they managed to pull off a shot that made it look like the window was the Earth. So whether you want to believe that or not, that's up to you. But I would highly suggest have a look at that footage, and you'll see why so many people So many globe believers don't believe in the moon landing.
Wow.
So it's called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon.
Wow.
I highly recommend you watch that.
So the funny thing is, it's like making a Disney movie, I think.
If
They
you
have
look in
really
the side chat,
technology.
Old Dude has there's a guy
Yeah,
called
yeah,
Old
yeah.
Dude who has posted the documentary
It's
by
like
Bart
Hollywood
Sibrel.
movie.
Yeah, they staged it. They staged the footage of the moon landing to have
Wow.
people believe that they went to the moon. So everybody started to believe, of course, the Earth is a ball.
Wow.
Of course, there is an out of space because look, they went to the moon. But we can show you footage, like I said, in that documentary. You'll watch that documentary and you will start to see that they have some very underhand tactics of having you believe something that you can't verify.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Guess what is the worst shape to photograph from a
That
distance?
Flat Earth Society or community underground to to prove and learn about this stuff. I can't sleep and really think about it.
No, I wouldn't concern yourself with anybody called the Flat Earth Society. The problem
No,
is
no, no,
just
no,
like
no.
politics.
I'm just new this topic and it's quite interesting to me.
Yeah, there is a group called the Flat Earth Society, and they make some claims that cannot be verified. So you'll come across all sorts of flat earthers, some flat earthers who are like us, very empirical,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
very
yeah.
logical, and then you'll come across some flat earthers who have got their own belief system, and the Flat Earth
Yeah,
Society guys, they believe some stuff that cannot be proven that, I don't think necessarily makes sense. But whether they're genuine or whether they are, I don't know if you know how some of these grassroots movements works, but you can infiltrate a movement by creating a group that are supposed to represent an idea, but actually they misrepresent the idea and they can throw out some false information. So I personally believe the Flat Earth Society are one of these groups that are an infiltrated group. They are speaking about flat Earth, yes, but they are actually steering people to ideas that cannot be verified and basically replacing one belief with another belief. We personally over here, well, me personally and the guys over here, we don't really agree that's the right thing to do. We do not know. If we do not know things, we shouldn't really be giving people, alternative cosmologies and ideas that we can't verify. So, for us, the Flat Earth Society is a little bit of misinformation, but there are lots of different flat earthers, as you can imagine.
wow. I'm
We would
speechless.
prefer you.
I'm speechless. I don't know what
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot
I
to
should
take in,
say.
but I would just encourage you to just get your critical thinking hat on. Forget about beliefs and focus on what we know. What and when I say we, I mean collectively as humans, what can we prove? We know that if we put water on heat on water, eventually that at a certain temperature that water will boil. You don't have to believe that. You can know that to be true. And I'm telling you, with the flat Earth, you can know that there is no drop over distance, there's no curvature to be measured. You can know this to be true. You can know that there's no measurable movement of the Earth or rotation of the Earth. You can know this to be true. Amongst other things that you can know, which will take you to the logical
Yeah,
conclusion that the
yeah, I
Earth is
know.
not a
Yeah,
spinning ball in a vacuum of space.
yeah, I
You can
got
know
it.
this.
Yeah. Sometimes the truth is becoming late. Arrive late. I mean, arrive late. I don't know what I'm saying, you know. But it's truth.
Yeah, there's some good there's some good content on that channel that I sent you. Did you get my DM?
Yeah. I see that.
Yep. Flat Earth Discord. Yep. Down the bottom, you can see topics. You can see things like horizon, Earth curve, spin of the
So you
Earth.
guys think about academically in this channel and
Yeah.
discussing?
Yeah.
Wow.
We take it from that
You
perspective.
guys making
Yeah.
progress, you know? You're making progress about this science. Really good job. Really good.
Well, that's it. You know, science is supposed to be the observation and the
Yeah.
validation of
It
phenomena.
should be.
You
It
know,
should be. It should be.
yeah, it's science shouldn't be about galaxies far away. That's science fiction, right? Real science is, like we said, it's tied to knowledge. It's tied to direct observation and experience.
Yeah.
So when it comes to science or the scientific method, knowledge, this is where the flat earth shines, my friend. This is where you'll really start to know things to be true. You know, you won't like it, but you're going to realize that there's no evidence for a spinning ball earth. It's just fantasy. It's a story. So do you want to believe stories, or would you rather know things to be true or not? And the same goes for the flat earth people who are telling stories.
Yeah. I'm just
You know,
wanna hear the truth, you know?
yeah, we don't agree with
Yeah.
anybody who wants to tell stories. And if you want to talk about philosophy, great, there's time and a place for that. But you know, when we're talking to new people, we shouldn't be sharing philosophy. We should be sharing the truth, knowledge,
Yeah.
logic. And that's where flat earth shines, my friend. That's where you'll realize the earth is not a spinning ball. What is the earth? Who knows? But it's not a spinning ball.
So what about the globe they told in school? I mean, in the school, they told us about the world in the globe, you know, not in the flat.
Yeah, they taught us a lot of things that we can't verify.
Yeah.
Is it so hard to believe? Is it so hard to believe that the things that we learn in school aren't necessarily true? Would it be so hard to believe that they're misinforming us from a very young age? I think if you apply this approach, there are other subjects you can disprove that you were taught in school. They told me in school that the sea levels would rise by 10 inches by the year 2000. We're in 2025 now, and the sea levels haven't risen. They taught us that we would be in commercial space travel on moon hotels by the year 2020. Yet we're no closer to commercial space travel.
Yeah.
They tell us a lot of things that is not true.
What their mission?
So that's a speculative question. This is easier to understand if you've come across this in other subjects. Like I said, there's a multitude of subjects that we just believe to be true, and turns out there's no evidence for it. If you've found things out about the government, found things out about the education system, the health system that are not true that you believed, then you start to recognize a pattern. And I think when something foundational or fundamental has been lied about, there is then like a web of lies that needs to sort of, sit in place. So there's many angles you can take to get to this truth. I think flat Earth is a fundamental truth. But why do they lie? Man, I could sit here and speculate all day on why they would lie. What's more interesting is uncovering how they lied. Because if something is true, then anything that's in the dark will be brought to light eventually, I believe. And I believe that you can just figure this out whether you like it or not, like if you really look into it, you're only going to come to one conclusion. We've been told a story, and the globe is like a religion, and we're in a cult. We call it culture, and there's many lies being told to us from birth. It doesn't have to be a negative either. It can be quite liberating to start uncovering these things and start realizing. Cheers, Josh.
So they start seeing propaganda and brainwash every student in school about that theory. I mean, what their mission? Is that commercial or they are anything about they are hiding truth? I mean, hiding the truth.
Well, look at what they've achieved. People think that they evolved from single-celled organisms. People think that they're on a ball spinning in a vacuum of space on the edge of a universe, very insignificant. And look at the state of our religions. Look at the state of our philosophies. People are basically
Okay, that's
caged.
good alternative.
People are basically caged animals now, and it's because of their philosophy. Most people think that human beings are a plague on the earth and that we're contributing to the destruction of the earth just by breathing. If you would like to control a people, there's definitely benefit to having them believe these sort of ideas, right? Can you see the benefits? Never mind the money that we give them for global warming, for NASA, space travel, research. So we pay them and they make us feel like we are a plague on the earth. And most people have no religion anymore. Most people have very little spirituality anymore. Most people have very little integrity anymore. And I think this has come from some of the beliefs that they have. Akshan, do you know of any scientist, geologist who can
Yeah,
confirm that they've measured the curve of the Earth?
I read a
Do
little
you,
bit about Galileo Galilei about the geometric theory. The sun rotating the globe.
right, and how did Galileo prove that Earth is a ball? How did he
With
know
the
this?
with proof, with the science.
Which science? Which proof? How did Galileo know the Earth was a ball?
I think she do observation. She put the work.
Observation of what?
Observation of her work. I
Of
mean,
what, sorry?
in the
I misheard
universe,
you. of the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who is the famous guy with the telescope? Right. He observed
Yeah.
the moon. He observed
And then
Venus.
I don't know. And then he died.
Right. So he
The
looked at the
fuck, man?
lights in the
What
sky.
the fuck?
Think about
There's
this.
something wrong with society. I
There
don't
is.
know. There's something
Think
wrong with
think about this though.
society.
Think about it. Don't don't panic.
There's something wrong with society.
Don't
I don't
panic, bro.
know,
Don't panic. Just
bro.
think.
Just
Just
chill,
think.
just chill. I'm just learning. I'm just learning. I'm just
Just
learning.
think. Don't panic. Just
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Galileo looked at the stars. He looked at the phases of Venus. He
What
looked
the
at the
fuck?
so-called moons of Jupiter, right? What did he prove by looking at them? What did he
There in the
prove?
sky, and she observed it, and she
I
do
like
observe it, and
I
then
like
she
your answer.
calculate,
He proved
and then
that they're in
she
the
do the
sky.
work,
Yep,
and
yep.
she calculate, and then she observe it,
And then he
observe.
made an assumption. He looked
Yeah,
at the phases. He looked at the phases of the moon. He looked at the phases of Venus. He looked at the wandering stars and decided that proves we live on a ball. He didn't do any
so
science.
ROOTZ, you so made me think about simple question about, but it's hard to answer. You know, I'm s- I don't know what I'm saying. It's simple question, but hard to tell, hard to answer.
I don't expect you to answer. I just hope that you will, next time you think or you hear of Galileo, I want you to think, what is being said here? Are looking at the phases of Venus proof that we live on a spinning ball? No. Is looking at the moon proof that we live on a spinning ball? No. It's an assumption because they built a model and they say, okay, if we live on a spinning ball, then these things in the sky could make sense if the ball was this size, this diameter, this radius, then yes, we would see this at this time. Great. This is proof we live on a ball. No. You have to assume we live on a ball first and then fit the observations in afterwards. There's no science there. Just assumption.
How do you know? How do you calculate this thing? I mean,
Ask yourself, what are they calculating? What was Galileo calculating?
I don't know about anything about Earth. Really? I don't know anything about Earth.
I'll tell you, he was calculating the phases of Venus, right? So when he looked at the phases of Venus, he said, this can only be possible if Venus orbits the sun. So this supports the heliocentric model, right? But the phases of Venus doesn't prove that the heliocentric model is the universe that we live in. It just
Yeah.
matches the observation if the Earth is a certain size. Now, how do we know the Earth is a ball and a certain size to begin with? We don't. We don't.
So the answer is we don't know anything about that.
We know we can't measure the Earth being a ball.
So what is conclusion,
The only conclusion I'm making here is that the heliocentric model is a religion. There's no science backing it. It's a religion. You have to believe it. You have to assume it's a ball. And then by looking at the world and nature, you can say, okay, the ball must be this big. The sun must be this far. Venus must be this far. But you've not validated we live on a ball to begin with. You've created a model, and you've backwards engineered that model from what you can see in the sky. This is not science. This is not direct evidence. This is a religion, a belief system. So whether you decide the Earth is a flat or not doesn't bother me. I'm not, that's your prerogative. But you need to know that Galileo didn't measure anything. He did no science, and there has been no science or direct measurement of the Earth being a ball, a rotating ball in a vacuum of space. I hope you look into it, bro. I really do.
Yeah.
It's not a quick, it's not a quick thing. It's going to take you weeks, maybe months to look up this stuff, but I hope you genuinely get an interest in knowledge, in logic, and applying that to the question, do we live on a spinning ball? I really do. And if you do, you'll hopefully come back. I would love to hear some of the research you've been doing. If you find anything you're unsure of, come back. There's some great minds in here, some very smart people who can answer some very technical questions. I'm
Hey
not one of them,
guys. Oh no, don't
but
take
there's some great guys here.
don't take higher expectation to me. I'm here to learn English, and I found this interesting topic, and so I can join, and yeah, it's going to make me think about it. What
Well, this is a
what
great way to learn English, right? We're learning about physics, we're learning about logic, we're learning
yeah
about truth, and I think
yeah
there's a lot of new words,
yeah
that you're learning or will be
yeah
learning if you hang around.
yeah. You guys drive me to think. This called rationalism. I think is that true? Rationalism.
Yeah, rationalism. Through empiricism, you can prove things, right? And I
Yeah
think that's the basis. That's the basis that we work off, and it's the basis of knowledge. Knowledge is to know something.
yeah. Knowledge is power.
Yeah. Look at the trouble we're in because of belief. Everybody believes this. Everybody believes that. Left wing, right wing. Everybody believes stuff and fights over it. Who really knows stuff, It's only through a method that you can start to know things. And this scientific method, there is a version of that in critical thinking. You can sort of take this approach into critical thinking, and you can apply this method in different
Yeah
areas. It can really sharpen your mind, my friend.
yeah. People believe socialism. People believe capitalism, and people believe communism. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just feel human when I know my brother starving in the street. I really can't think sleep, just like that. I mean,
You right, babe?
there's something
Babe,
wrong
you
in
ringing me?
this society,
Oh,
I'm just really thinking about it.
that's it, bro. That's it. Keep pursuing truth. Keep pursuing truth. Stay rational.
Yes,
Follow the
yeah.
knowledge and be
Thanks for
skeptical of the
the
belief.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for the information about this. I really appreciate that. What are you saying that makes me think hard about? So people believe what they want truly believe. You know, I don't know. I just want the truth.
Most people follow the crowd, right? Most people
Yeah.
follow the majority.
Yeah.
People don't even believe what they want to believe. They believe what they're told. And that's the scary
Yeah.
thing. What we're told isn't questioned.
Yeah.
That's a fundamental
Supposed to.
problem within society. People don't question what they're told from an authority. They blindly follow authority, and that's why human beings are always compared to sheep. I don't think we should be like that. I don't think we thrive in that mindset. And I think that's
Yeah.
why so many people's lights, I say their lights are dim. I hope you know what I mean. Most people don't shine. Most people don't show their personality. Most people are quite, nowadays, I believe, are quite reserved. And I think it's because of this mentality we've been taught. We've been bred to be sheep. You know, we're not explorers anymore. In the mind, in reality, we don't. We just believe what we're told. We do as we're told. That's a problem.
Yeah. It's quite literally, when we believe and we, start fighting about our brother about what we all believe. There's so many cases. I don't know. In politicians.
They're fighting about things they don't know to be true.
Yeah.
They don't know. They just believe.
I don't
It's a
know.
waste.
I really
It's a
don't
waste of time. It's a waste of time, brother. Politics is a waste of time.